So it's officially over. Australia went out on the penalties to Egypt on the Saturday morning, and that was it. The last Asian team at this World Cup is gone. 9 AFC teams started this tournament, the biggest Asian presence at any World Cup in the history. And now they're all home. So you know what time it is? Report card time. In this video, I'm gonna grade every single Asian team. Some of these teams made me proud. A couple of them actually made history. And one or two of them, we get to it. Here's how I'm gonna do it. As I rate each team, I'm placing them on this board. My final AFC ranking for the whole tournament. And I'm gonna be brutal with this because I think Asian football deserves a honest analysis, not just cheerleading. So let's get into it.
Show some respect. Fresh off the jet, run up the bags. I came for the check, cause I gotta.
Let's start with the team that got put into the toughest group in this World Cup, Iraq. They got drawn into the group with France, Norway, and Senegal. I mean, come on, you have to compete with the world-class star like Mbappe, Haaland, and Mane. And the numbers are as brutal as you expect. 0 points, 1 goal scored, 12 conceded, 4-1 to Norway, 3-0 to France, 5-0 to Senegal. That's not a group, that's a punishment. They lost all 3 games, conceded heaps, and honestly, there's not a lot of tactical analysis to discuss here because the talent gap is so big. They simply turned up to the wrong party. So for that, I have to put them into the A grade. I actually feel bad doing that, but I mean, they just unfortunately got into that group. Now, Saudi Arabia, and this one frustrated me because they actually started well. A 1-0 draw with Uruguay in the opener. That was a great result. And then, nothing after that. They lost 4-0 to Spain. Fair enough, it was Spain. But then a 0-0 draw with Cape Verde. And mind you, this country that I never heard of before the World Cup actually played better than Saudi Arabia. So 2 points, 1 goal scored in 3 games, and here's the stat that tells the whole story. 17 shots total across 3 games. That was the fewest of any team that played in the 3 group matches for a country that hosting the 2034 World Cup. And with all the investment in the Saudi League in the last decade, I literally didn't see any ambition from the team. So just because they scored a goal and got a couple of points, I will put them into the D grade. Uzbekistan, their first ever World Cup, and FIFA got them into the group of Colombia, Portugal, and a very good Congo side. I love their romantic story about getting into the World Cup, and I truly hope they could do a lot better, but we have to be real. 0 points, 2 goals scored, 11 conceded, a -9 goal difference that only 2 teams in the whole tournament finished below. And yes, I know the 5-0 loss against Portugal was rough, but they actually didn't play that bad. I did a whole video on it, so you can check it right here. And I think their campaigns will be summed up with 2 best moments. Faisulev scored against Colombia, their first ever World Cup goal. And Shomurodov's goal against Congo, absolutely beautiful. So I would say Uzbekistan left this World Cup with a lot of lessons to learn, and initially I would put them into the F card, but you know, I always have a soft spot for the underdog teams. Also, since this is their first time in the World Cup, so I'm gonna swap them with Saudi Arabia. So Uzbekistan go to E and Saudi Arabia goes to F. Jordan, the other debutant, and honestly, I think they surprised me. Yes, they lost all 3 games, 0 points, -5 goal difference, and no sugarcoating that. But you have to look closer, they scored in every single game. Ali Owen's goal against Austria was Jordan's first ever World Cup goal. And in the game against Algeria, they were actually leading at halftime. In a group with the defending champions, this tiny football nation never once parked the bus and prayed. They came to play. Compare that to Saudis and Iraq's 1 goal, and this is their first time in the World Cup as well. They did an amazing job. So for that, I put them in the C. This is purely based on their performance. Alright, before we get into the heavyweights, if you enjoyed this video so far, please hit the subscribe button to support this channel. Okay, now the interesting ones. Qatar, 1 point from 3 games, bottom of the group. But I'm not angry at all, because that 1 point, the 94th minute equalizer against Switzerland, that was Qatar's first ever World Cup point. After a mystery of 2022 on home soil, they finally got something on the board at a World Cup. Now the numbers don't lie. 2 goals scored, 10 conceded, and 6 of those came from the horrible night against Canada. They came in as Asian champions with the lowest expectation from everyone, and they left with a piece of history. So I put them into the B grade. South Korea, my god, this is the one that hurt the most because they started brilliantly. They Czechia 2-1 from behind and played such a beautiful football that I thought, come on, they actually look better than Japan, in my opinion. And I even backed them up in my preview to beat Mexico, but then they lost 1-0. Okay, fine. Mexico at home is tough, I can give them that. But then the unforgivable one was the game against South Africa. They needed a win or at least a draw would be enough for them to go through against South Africa, a side that looked terrible the whole tournament. And the manager decided to bench Heung-min. They played absolutely terrible, lost 1-0 and went home. Look at the numbers here. 3 points, minus 1 goal difference, 2 goals scored, 3 conceded across 3 games. 1 more goal, literally 1 more, we send them through to the knockout as one of the best third. That's what makes it unforgivable. And that was a sad day for Son, because he will be 37 before he plays another World Cup match, if he ever does. And it didn't stop there, it actually got bigger. Heung-min goal resigned straight after the elimination. The fans booed him at the airport while applauding the players, and then the president of South Korea ordered a government investigation, not just into the results, but into how Hong was appointed in the first place. After all that, they still got 3 points, so I'm gonna put them into the A- slot. And now the coolest story of the whole tournament, Iran. They did not lose a single game this World Cup, not one. They drew with New Zealand, a 0-0 with Belgium, and another draw with Egypt. 3 draws, 3 points, 3 goals scored, 3 conceded, a goal difference of exactly 0, and eliminated. The only AFC team to finish the group stage without the negative goal difference, apart from Australia and Japan. And they are the one who has to go home before the knockouts. They finished 3rd and then got bumped out of the best 3rd place spots by other results. And even worse, a late VAR offside in the Egypt game denied them 2nd place. But here's the part of Iran's story that actually got me. The circumstances this team was dealing with before and during the World Cup. Their tournament preparation was wrecked by the war back in February. Everyone knew that. Their domestic league got shut down and the squad had to prepare in Turkey. Then came closest to the World Cup started. Their training base was moved from Arizona to Tijuana on the Mexican side of the border, with all 3 of their group games in the US. Just imagine the amount of traveling they have to cover before and after each game. Besides that, 14 of their staff and officials were denied US visas. On top of that, their fans ticket allocation was revoked because of the US sanction rules. So a large number of the supporters couldn't even be there. This squad prepared in a foreign country, committed to their own World Cup games across the border, with half their staff missing and barely any fans in the stands, and they didn't lose a single game. When you add that to the context, it's the most impressive achievement by any team in this World Cup. So initially I was gonna put Iran into the B+, but I think they deserve a spot above South Korea, so I'm gonna swap them over. My Socceroos. Look, this one's still raw. The Egypt game. Let's be fair about the whole journey. 5 points in the group. A win, a draw, and a loss. But get this. Goal difference of 0 across the whole tournament. Scores 2. Considered 2 in the group. This was the team that gave away almost nothing. That 2-0 win over Turkey was one of the best AFC performance of the tournament. A proper tactical masterclass. The USA game exposed the ceiling, and I talked about that as well, so there's a link here you can watch back. The Paraguay 0-0 got the job done. And then Egypt in the first knockout round. 1-0 after 120 minutes, and then the penalties. Popovich even threw on Matt Ryan in the 119th minute just for the shootout. The big gamble, and he still couldn't save a single one. Salter and Harrington missed it. Egypt scored 4 from 4. Salah with a panicker. That's very annoying, Salah. And that ended the Aussies' dream. But you know what, as an Aussie, I'm really hopeful for the Socceroos in the next World Cup because we have a very promising new generation of talent. Paddy Beach, Vopado, Iran Kunda, Jordi Boss, Harrington, they all play fantastic. More than I expected. So good on ya, Socceroos. For that, I'm gonna put the Australian team in slot 8. Alright, one team left. But before we get to that, I think I should mention this because I got questioned quite often. Tan, you're in Thailand. How are you watching all these games? It's a very good question because it can be tricky to follow the World Cup or even the Premier League or the Champions League as a digital nomad. So I have watched this tournament in Vietnam and now in Chiang Mai on Australian broadcast SBS, but it's only available for Australian region. So the way I get around it is using NordVPN. I connect to an Australian server and suddenly I'm watching the Socceroos on the home broadcast with the Aussie commentary like I never left. If you're traveling or living abroad and want access to coverage from anywhere, I have a link in the description below with a big discount. Okay, let's get back to the board. Japan, was there ever any doubt? Now, full disclosure first. Before the Brazil game, I called Japan to win 3-2. And the final score, Brazil 2, Japan 1. I got it wrong. I admit it. But you have to watch the game. I said this Japan team can compete with any of the world's top 10 team. And they actually pushed Brazil hanging on it to the end. It might be wrong score, but the right theory. Let's look back into the group stage. 5 points, 7 goals scored, only 3 conceded, plus 4 goal difference. They drew with the Netherlands, playing them off the park for stretches, smashed Tunisia 4-0, grew through the group without Kubo for the last 2 games, and then Brazil in the round of 32, and they lost 2-1. No Mitoma, no Minamino, no Endo, and no Kubo. Most of their best players missing, and they still went closer to Brazil than almost anyone. But here's the brutally honest bit. This is now their 9th World Cup, and Japan have still never passed the round of 16. I think with the direction and the development that they are going through now, Japan will produce a lot more big talents in upcoming years. I still think Japan absolutely above the rest of the Asian teams at the moment. So I will put them, of course, in the A+ slot. So there's the final board. And here's what I think this tournament actually told us about Asian football. The floor has risen. 9 teams, debutants scoring goals. Iran went home unbeaten. And nobody truly embarrassed. But the ceiling is still there. Not one AFC team made it to the quarterfinals. And that's it, guys. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe and share, and I will see you in the next one.
Like a couple bands, tell them me talking about